One thing we are going to plug in right now is our take for 99 as we close this show. And you know what we do here on a take like this, on a segment like this, we give you a take in all the sports that we have currently in our minds right now, and we get to fire it off and and get a response. So before we do, Zay, I'm actually going to defer this one more time to you,
Okay.
and I'll bring us on.
So I take for 99 cents. It's not more of a take. I feel like it's more of a question for the boxing community, and I hope y'all get to like and subscribe to the channel first and foremost, but also comment on this take. Is 2024 going to be the greatest year of boxing? We have a lot of names fighting in this upcoming year. We're talking about Wilder, Joshua, Fury, Usyk, Haney, Garcia, Teofimo Lopez, and this is all before I even get to Canelo and Benavidez. There's so many big names in boxing fighting in this next upcoming year. I can't imagine another year that was like this. So many huge names. Back in the day, we used to look forward to one big name. We used to look forward to 2 to 3 maybe, but not 9 to 10 main event cards that everybody in the world knows. This is going to be a huge year for boxing. Now, is it going to be the greatest year? I don't know. I have to see how the performances are. But the way the names are being talked about and who's fighting in this upcoming year, I'm excited for it. I didn't even mention Lomachenko Kambosos fighting for a belt. I didn't mention Gervonta Davis potentially fighting one of the bigger names like Devin Haney or somebody else in the next upcoming year. There's so many big fights happening in 2024. I'm excited to see what's going to happen. There's going to be almost every 2 months, there'll be a big name card out there. There's going to be probably every 2 to 3 months, there'll be a big name out there fighting in this upcoming year. That's something that is rare in boxing. A couple years ago, I was talking about how the boxing sport died. It was done, extinguished. There was a fire on it and no one could put it out. And then boxing started coming out with the haymaker cards back to back to back, developing the boxing talent. There are a lot of young kids out there under 25 out there going out for these big belts. That's something that's not normal, or at least not in boxing. That's not a normal thing. So that's the question I really phrased to the community. Is it going to be the greatest year of boxing? Shout out to Kenny Fanson.
Yeah, man, I would love to respond to that because that's actually going to align with my take. I actually wish we kind of reversed the order there because, but I think it aligns. It definitely, it's a stepping stone to my take that I have. I just will respond to that real quickly. I think when you talk about the year 2023, that was the year to get boxing back on track, if anything, right? We had the Ryan Garcia and Tank fight, and this is an excellent take because the year is about to end. So I love it. I actually think it's a perfect time to have a take like this. We got the Ryan Garcia and Tank fight, and that was the fight that kind of jump-started, okay, we don't kind of got to play this management game where we are trying to play this. I mean, people still going to do it, where they cherry pick, they wait to the top. But we could fight early, right? Mayweather and Pacquiao fought late. They did not fight in their primes. And because of that, we got the quality of fight that we got when they did fight. And that didn't need to happen. That could have happened earlier. But Ryan Garcia and Tank, despite, the weight stipulations, the rehydration stipulations or whatever, we still got that fight relatively early. They are in their 20s, their mid-20s or whatever. And then I think right after that, we got Bud and Errol Spence. Literally right after that, they negotiated for it and said, listen, bro, let's call each other on the phone and let's make this happen. Exclude all the third parties and promoters. We're going to make this fight happen. And they got it done. Literally, they got it done together. Screw the politics. We are going to negotiate this ourselves. And maybe we get an a hedge fund or whatever and try to make this thing happen. And that's exactly what happened. It wasn't a close fight, but it still happened. And we got to see it before it was too late. And now we're seeing these type of fights happen more often. Benavidez is trying to clean out his division. He like, Canelo, how many times I got to chase you? How many times I got to be a mandatory for the last couple of years? No, I'm going to clean out this division. I'm going to beat Andre. I'm going to beat Plant. And then guess what? We're going to try to demand that fight. So I think when you look at 2023, it was a start of getting boxing back on track to lead us into 2024, which arguably has the makings of being the best year of boxing, period. Because when you think about potential fights that could be made this year, we are talking David Benavidez and Canelo. We are talking Deontay Wilder versus AJ finally, right? We are talking about Arthur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol, right? We are talking about, Inoue and, continuing to move up and even individual greatness, like anyway, who's fighting on Marlon Staples on Christmas Day or the Christmas Eve or whatever. He is making greatness in his own self, so we could continue to see that. Maybe Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez can happen in 2024. All these things are possible, and if it does happen, then yeah, 2024 may just be the best year in boxing.
I haven't mentioned the rematch of Crawford and Bud. I mean, the Crawford and Spence. So that's another, like, there's so many great fights.
And Kenny, we are not going to jump over Dead Reckoning because that's my take for 99. That's exactly where I'm going. You know, my take for 99 is that Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder are under extreme pressure to set up their super fight coming up in March because they have to get past the Dead Reckoning card. And when you look at that card, bro, I'm very excited for this card. You know, I don't know why other people are complaining for. I'm stoked. I've been watching every single interview that I have a chance to watch, and I'm stoked about this card. We are talking, you know, the heavyweights getting together on one card and fighting. We are talking Jarrell Miller versus Daniel Dubois. We are talking Dimitri Bivol versus Lyndon Arthur. We are talking Deontay Wilder versus Joseph Parker. We're talking about Otto Wallin, and Anthony Joshua fighting all on one card. And everybody's looking forward to AJ and Wilder. They just agreed mutually to fight on March 9th, I believe. But guess what? Dare I remind y'all that this is the heavyweight division, the most unpredictable division in all of boxing. Anything could happen in this division because guys carry a certain amount of power that can literally switch a fight like that. And both of these fighters talking about each other and the fight being negotiated for. Wilder, AJ, finally, it's been 7 years in the making. It's about time. Guess what? They got business to handle. Because Joseph Parker, don't get me wrong, he lost some of his big fights. He lost to Joy Joyce. He lost to Dillian White back-to-back. But he's on a little winning streak. I believe he fought 3 times this year. If he didn't, he's 3-0 in his last couple fights, tune-up fights, but he's 3-0. But guess what? He's active. Wilder is inactive. He hasn't fought. I believe his last fight was Robert Helenius, his sparring partner, round 1 KO. But since then, he hasn't fought in 14 months. So Joseph Parker, he may not have the physical attributes to, you know, be the favorite to win this fight. Everybody think, you know, Wilder at some point is going to land that right hand to strike gold and knock him out. But he has the activity advantage over Deontay Wilder, right? When you look at the way how Fury beat Wilder in the first fight of the trilogy, you know, I think Joseph Parker is probably going to have to take that blueprint and rock with that because clearly he's not as big as Fury. He's not going to be able to do some of the things that Fury did, you know, grappling on Wilder, leaning on Wilder, hitting him with rabbit punches, fighting a physical game plan. But he could do what Fury did in the first fight, which was outbox, move, utilize feints, and win on points. Well, clearly it was a draw, but, you know, Fury should have won on points. I think that's Parker's best way to victory, right? To avoid that right hand, to negate that right hand and be able to outbox Wilder and win that fight on the cards. When you talk about AJ and Otto Wallin, we can't forget that AJ lost back-to-back fights to a southpaw who was able to outbox him and literally win on points in Alexander Usyk. And we cannot forget that Otto Wallin almost beat Tyson Fury. Like, it wasn't like the fight was extremely close. Like, Fury did had a bad cut and that literally got in the way. You know, it was still, you know, it wasn't a close fight, but Fury won clearly. But Otto Wallin did give him some trouble. And he's going to be looking to play spoiler again to prevent Wilder and AJ showdown. This is his WrestleMania here. This is his, like, day of reckoning. It's never going to happen, right? Joseph Parker, it's never going to happen for him. So both of these fighters are under extreme pressure, and I can't emphasize that enough. When you talk about Wilder's inactivity, when you talk about AJ being gun shy, he doesn't have and command the same respect amongst the heavyweight division anymore. Look at Jarrell Miller. Okay, he pulling up on AJ. Nobody cares about AJ no more. People used to fear AJ. Not anymore. You know, Otto Wallin, you think he don't think he gonna win this fight? He thinks he gonna win this fight. Nobody is scared of AJ anymore, and he has to command that respect back, and it starts with the day of reckoning. So my take, ladies and gentlemen, is that Wilder and AJ is under extreme pressure to get past the day of reckoning card to set up the super fight that we've been trying to see for the last 6 years.
I think boxing has gotten us more excited more than ever. I think it's gonna be an exciting fight. Kenny, again, we need to talk more boxing with Kenny for sure. Kenny is really proficient in the sport of boxing. We definitely gotta get him over on the show. But I think boxing, like I said, is more exciting more than ever. So many different fights, so many different fighters is drawing in the news, drawing a lot of attention. And I think this AJ and Wilder super fight that's hopefully bound to happen. They both are in extreme amount of pressure to make this fight happen. So I think it's gonna be interesting what happens. And the boxing community is absolutely over the edge for this card.
It's a great card. And my last point, if we talk about a fight, and Zay, I might ask you the same question when I'm done. Out of all these fights on this card, intriguing to watch, I would probably have to say, Jarrell Miller and Daniel Dubois. Not because of the trash talking aspect of it. We got to give credit where credit is due. Jarrell Miller is doing a great job of selling this card. Him and Wilder really is doing a great job of holding this card together as far as a promotional perspective, right? Those who know that this is a good card from a fight perspective, but they doing it from a promotional perspective. And I think when you talk about a guy like Jarrell Miller, who has been sidelined for 2 to 3 years based on infractions and PEDs and stuff like that. I got to keep it real. I know he know my brother. He went to school with my brother. Okay. But at the end of the day, I got to keep it real. Okay. My guy popped and his career stopped. Okay. Now it's his opportunity to kind of get back. It's like going to jail and coming back to society. Where do I fit in? I got to make a name for myself. I got to come back. You saw that Creed movie, Creed 3, where Michael B. Jordan friend, his boxing friend. I forgot who it was. Jonathan Majors, who played that guy, right? He was in jail. He missed time. Now he got to come back for what's his. I look at it like that with Jarrell Miller. I got to come back for what's mine. Like, yeah, I cheated. But at the end of the day, I'm here to show the world that I'm a good boxer. And we know that he's a big dude. He's going to try to tangle you up. He's going to throw a lot of punches and bunches. And for a guy of his size, he definitely do have stamina. Don't get it twisted. He does have stamina. And when you talk about Dubois, he's a guy that arguably should have won his last fight against Alexander Usyk when he hit him with a body shot that was called a low blow. Yep. He has the power to win this fight as well, but mental. He has quit. He quit in that Usyk fight. He quit in his fight previously. I think it was Joy Joyce, but I'm not sure. I think it was a Joy Joyce fight that he quit as well. He has an opportunity he has the mentality and the narrative of being a quitter. When you go up against a guy like Jarrell Miller, who really is going to frustrate you, talk smack as well, he can reel you down mentally. So does he have the mental fortitude to win this fight? I think that's why this fight is so intriguing, because we get to see Jarrell Miller on a big stage and see, really if he could have really tested AJ if he didn't pop and perhaps won that fight, because Andy Ruiz did. He felt that he missed a golden opportunity. Like, I cheat. And that's why it goes back to, I know I'm all over the place right now, but that's why it goes back to my AJ point about the fear and him not commanding that fear of the heavyweight division, because he popped before the AJ fight because he feared AJ, right? But Andy Ruiz beat AJ, and now he feeling like, yo, that could have been me. I saw his Instagram after Andy Ruiz won the fight. He was upset. That was me right there. Now he has an opportunity on the same card as AJ to show that he belongs in this, top 10 heavyweight division, unit here. And perhaps if he wins this fight, makes a statement, Wilder handle his business, AJ handle his business, and AJ gets chinned by Wilder on March 9th, then he could command the AJ fight and rewrite his wrong. And that's why I think that fight in particular is the most intriguing fight to me. But Zay, I'll defer that question to you. Out of all the fights on the card, which one is the most intriguing to you?
I'm actually really excited to see Dimitri Bivol versus Lyndon Arthur. I'm actually really excited to see that fight. I think there's gonna be a really heavy clashing fight between two dominant fighters, and I think something that nobody's talking about is Lyndon Arthur. I don't think he gets enough respect as a boxer, so I think it's gonna be interesting what happens in this ring between those two. We also Bivol did against Canelo, or didn't do against Canelo, whatever y'all want to say. I think he had a dominant performance. I think it may be when he fights against Lyndon Arthur, he's gonna try to do something similar and try to do the same, but it's going to be an issue for him. I think Lyndon Arthur is going to stifle him with a lot of nasty combinations, and it's going to put Bivol on the back end. I think these are two guys who are hungry. They want to prove themselves on a big stage right now, as this particular fight, the last card of the year, if I'm not mistaken. But I want to say that this fight is going to be really great.
Yeah, with all due respect, I do not want to see Ryan and Devin next. I don't have no interest in that. I'd rather see Ryan fight somebody like Rolly, and I'd rather see Devin and Teofimo Lopez, with all due respect. But I think as we close this show and as we close the year, I believe we're gonna be on this show one more time before the new year kicks off next week after Christmas. But boxing is in a good spot. The politics obviously still messes things up in the sport. The lack of accountability, the lack of the WBC mandating these fights to happen that we do want to see. But at the end of the day of reckoning card, I'm stoked for it. I'm looking forward to talking about it next week.
Please like and subscribe for all the up-to-date content. You've been slinging shows left and right, slinging content left and right. Please don't miss anything. If you do, like, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a question, something you may want to answer, something you may have. All ideas are great ideas. Nothing's a dumb question.